Happy Friday, y'all. It's Jasmine Elizabeth, and you are joining me for Dear Jazzy. And we are on the R network where we're not just for the people, we are the people. And you can catch us streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Amazon, all of those platforms. So I'll take a pause. I'll let everybody get a little cozy, get tapped in on YouTube, get tapped in on Facebook, on Instagram, all the different platforms. And while you're getting tuned in, I am going to remind you that we are here because we have dope conversations based off of the emails and the chats and the comments that you send to me. And we get different comments, excuse me, in chats every week sent to Dear Jazzy at gmail.com. And that's DearJassy at gmail.com. And so it's been really cool because this week we actually got some feedback and some letters from last week. So it's a continual conversation. And then we got a new one. So I'm going to wait. I know we started a little bit later today. So we're sharing it. I'm letting you guys get adjusted to where you are. While we're doing that, I'll make a couple announcements. So I'm excited. Tomorrow, we'll have the Now I Know dinner experience. So it was moved from my birthday until tomorrow. And it is crazy how fast February is here. Oh, and so happy Black History Month. Happy Black My People Built This Country Month. Like I don't know how I feel when I keep hearing say that immigrants built this country. Immigrants, we're not immigrants, my nigga. Immigrants did not build this country. Black people built this country. And to say anything less than that is offensive. And so, no, I'm not discounting the work of immigrants because I am both. But we have to acknowledge that immigrants didn't build this country. We were actually in possession of, we were slaves. We were not in possession of ourselves at that time, and we built this land. Black people, our history, our legacy, but we weren't just slaves. We're creators, we're inventors. Everything is Black. Everything is created because of us. And I'll say that proudly. Most inventions, technology, the TVs that you're watching, the lights that you use, the food that you eat, the music that you listen to, the clothes that you wear, your hairstyles, the way that you walk, the way that you talk, it's all influenced by us, Black people. Black, brown, however you want to call it, but we are we're the blueprint. So happy Black History Month. Happy Black We Built This Country Month. And that's something that needs not to be forgotten, even though they're trying to erase us out of education, even though they're trying to erase us from history, take us out of policy and all that. We know if we were to disappear, this country would dissolve. There would be no United States of America. There would be, y'all wouldn't even know how to exist without us. Y'all barely even know how to cook without us, okay? So let's just not even go there. But let's just acknowledge that Black people are the blueprint. In January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. It's never going to change. And I think once we acknowledge that and we acknowledge our power and our ability to create and our greatness, and we get on the same page around some shit that we can continue to make magic. We're so much greater together. And I think that's why there's so much work to keep us apart. And that's why I love Dear Jazzy, because this is a space where we come together every Friday and have real conversations where we see things from different perspectives, where we're able to hear from men, from women, from them, from people who see things one way and another way. And it all goes down in the chat. It all goes down in the inbox. And so I'm grateful for the crew that comes every single Friday. to have the conversations based off of what you guys send in the inbox. But yeah, this is black magic. This is work. This is healing, like being able to talk with each other through different situations and different things. So I'm excited about our conversations today. And I look forward to tomorrow where we'll have the conversation based off of my book, Now I Know. So it's an intimate experience, no like frivels and all of that. It's going to be the book, a journal, some good Jamaican food provided by Heart of the Hood, Elohani. I love her so much. So good food, a good time, and we will break bread and have a conversation about Now I Know. And I plan to do it more than once. So get a copy of the book. It's on Amazon. And look forward to an opportunity to join me in a discussion coming soon. So I'm super, super grateful for that. And hey, Sneak Geek, I am so happy to see you. Happy Friday. Another announcement that we have is that, of course, we have the watch party that's going to happen this Sunday at Tetra. Two teams are going to be playing in the Super Bowl, but I heard Bad Bunny is going to be performing at halftime. So this is going to be history in the making, Bad Bunny's halftime show. And I believe that the Seattle Seahawks are going to walk away with the win. They're playing somebody from, I think it's No, just playing. I won't do that. They're playing the Patriots. So the Super Bowl on Sunday, we're having the watch party at Tetra. Of course, you can catch us there. Kickoff is at 4:30. We're going to have all the same shenanigans that we have, spades, unos, but we will be showing the game in the background. Well, there's multiple screens. So definitely come out, celebrate with us as we celebrate the owner's birthday. So that's going to be a good time as well. And the weather's supposed to be amazing. So we'll have some outside time. Our food truck, Sydney's will be there, and they've been spot on. Their food's been on point. They've been having brisket. They have wings. They have some bomb hot links. They have some real good food, so come check them out as well. And then, of course, Miss Vontice will be there with the butters. But, yo, check this out. So next Sunday, I don't know what day that is. I think it's the 15th. Yeah, the 15th, we're actually doing a breathe and shop experience. So we're looking for local vendors, local artists, local people who have products that you want to sell. Connect with me, Dear Jazzy at gmail.com, and we can get you a space at Tetra for our shop and breathe that's going to take place on the 15th. So connect with me, Dear Jazzy at gmail.com. And when you see the flyer, I think my number is on there. If you see the flyer, you could call me or text me as well when you see the flyer, and we can connect on that. So definitely let's look at that. So stay tuned. If you're in Denver, join me on Sunday at Tetra for the watch party. And then the following Sunday, we have the shop and breathe experience. We'll have different vendors, different experiences, different things. So come out and join us. And if you're interested in being a part of that experience, please email me, Dear Jazzy at gmail.com. All right. So I feel like I delayed a lot. I dragged a lot. We got a few people that are joining us online. So as we get into the conversation, I know that more people will come. So I want to start with a follow-up letter conversation that we had from last week. And so we had a writer come right in to say it's a real thing. So let me see here. Hold on. All right. So it says, hey, girl, I'm really liking these conversations. It's touching on so many things. I wanted to chime in about women preferring hood men over squares. It's a real thing. Growing up in Florida, we moved from a predominantly white suburb to a predominantly black suburb. And the girls would clown my brothers saying that they weren't hard or hood enough for them. Now my brothers only date Mexicans and white girls. And it's so unfortunate because my brothers are good dudes. Why are we like this? That's an interesting one. And that is the conversation that we did have last week. So if you missed last week, you can tune into YouTube, check it out on YouTube or on Facebook, but go to YouTube and you can watch the whole conversation. And we kind of talked a little bit about like hood versus good. Is it a difference? Does hood not equate? And there was a conversation about how Heather had said we equate being hood to like a warrior or strong or protection. And then I was thinking about that too. And then someone said something to the regards that sometimes hood men could be narcissists or something like that. So there were so many different perspectives to that. And I wish we could further that conversation. So I'm actually happy that somebody wrote in to ask that, because I think there's so many different layers to that. Because I can relate. And I think I talked about this in the last one. I said that before. Like, I feel like I fumbled a really good dude because I wanted someone who was a little bit more like rebellious or just like was in the streets or just doing dumb shit versus a dude who really was like sheltered. He was a good dude. He played video games and basketball and he studied and did all those things. And so I could see that as being true, but I don't have an answer for why. I don't know why. I think it's growth. I think there's layers to what you want. I think there's maturity. I think there's a lot of different things. But I'm about to pause to actually tag some people that I actually want them to have a conversation with me about it, because I had Jasir, he's one of my friends on Facebook, actually say that he had this experience, that he knows this to be true. And I actually can tell you that my brothers know this to be true. Like, one of my brothers, all of his girlfriends have been either like white or Mexican or something, not black. He doesn't date black girls. And I think it's a similar experience that he had as well. Like, they thought he was just too clean cut and too nice and too polished. Like, they would say that my brother, he actually coaches for a college, for a university, so he's not soft by any stretch of the imagination. And even Jasir, I don't think. Okay, so you're in the comments. Thank you. You hopped in. So you said it's just how things are, but let's talk about it, because why are things like that? Because in my interactions with you, I wouldn't say by any stretch of the imagination that like you're soft or that you're not a protector. Like, you definitely give protector, oversight vibes, but I don't know your background enough to say like if you're hood or not. But like, what did you hear? Like, what was said to you? Like, what was said? How did that happen? And if you don't mind sharing, like, tell me, like, has it happened a lot of times, or has it just been like one or two times, or what are your thoughts? And Miss Teresa, I remember last week you were saying for you, you used to want someone who was hood, but now you want someone who is good. But then I had to think about that. Like, does hood not, like, if you're hood, does that not mean you're good? And then what does it even all mean together? Like, what are the definitions of these words? And clearly they have some weight to them, or they matter, because these are real life experiences. And so, yeah, girl, I think it is a real thing. And I don't know how we can unpack that, because I do think as women, we may be missing out on some dope opportunities or some really amazing men, because we have this conception or misconception or misperception in our head of like how men are supposed to show up. So, you've been called too nice. So Ashley Nichols says that he's been called too nice because he's chivalrous. And Oh, okay. So only 3 times. That's not a lot, but that's enough because you're chivalrous. So because you're giving. Mm, that's interesting. That's a very, very interesting concept. Um, because you were kind. And that's interesting too, because that's that fine line between like independence and like wanting a guy to be kind to you and then not wanting, or like wanting to do everything for yourself. I think it's a different approach for real. What do you think, Miss Teresa? I don't know. Um, I think words do matter. I think that every woman wants to feel like their man can protect them and like really provide some type of security for them. I don't know why we have this perception that if you grew up in a certain manner or if you don't have a certain type of background or history that you're not capable of doing that. And I do understand. And then that made me think about like, well, do we, as Black women, sometimes just like, I won't say force because force isn't a good word, but I would say like, do we give space for men to explore different opportunities? Like, are we ungrateful for good men? Like, is it possible that like we could be potentially ungrateful for good men and so they explore other things? Because we know as we celebrate Black History Month, like every culture loves a good Black man. Like every culture, Black men are a commodity in that regards. And we can talk about that too, because like it's a fetish in a way, but it's like, so we can think about that. Do we open the door for that because it's like, oh, you're square, you're not hood enough, you're not this, that, and the other, and so they explore other options? Do we feel like all Black men are in jail? Because I know that conversation that came up last week too. Like, oh, well, hood men find themselves in jail, but I'm like, wait, there's lame men in jail too, and there's all types of people in jail too, so I wouldn't say that. But Miss Teresa says, let's not forget, hold on, let me move this so I can see. Let's not forget the green Black women that aren't hood enough. I used to not fit in at all. Hood to me, as someone grew up with a pastor for a father, really only meant someone who was not afraid or ashamed to protect me no matter what. Yeah, see, that's what I mean too. Like, okay, so for you, you're saying someone who wasn't ashamed to protect you no matter what. So you do connect hood with security. So it's not a negative connotation whatsoever. And I feel you with the green, but it's okay. So let me tell you, my dad is a pastor now, but my dad didn't start off as a pastor. So my dad was really with the shit, like really, really with the shit. So I learned a lot from my dad. Shout out to my daddy. He keeps me game tight. So anytime that I play delusional, trust me, I know I'm fully aware of what's happening. Anyway, but my dad is dope. So he is a pastor now, but he didn't start as a pastor. So I was able to see both sides of the spectrum, but I did understand or recognize how like girls in church could be a little green, not to the point where they're innocent, because church girls get down too. I definitely learned that at an early age as well. But there are some things that you aren't necessarily exposed to, and so it causes you to be like in that conundrum or in that middle space. So I do understand that too. So I get that point. But I think that's interesting that you said that your definition of being hood was someone who's not afraid to protect you. So you do connect it with a positive connotation. Like if you have a hood man, and we're not going to say if you have a hood man, you feel like he's going to protect you by any means necessary, where you're not necessarily sure if that's the case with someone who didn't grow up in that case. Ashley Knuckles said, I've had better luck with women when I dim my chivalry and intellect to match the women I choose to approach. How did that work out for you? How did that work out for you? Because I feel like you shouldn't have to do that, but I get it. I get it 100%. Like, I get that because been there, done that. And I've learned, like, I'll never do that again. I'll never dim my intellect to to meet the standards of someone else, because that's belittling yourself, and that's actually lowering your standards. And so it never works out. And if it does, it's not for long. And so Miss Teresa said, I think some of us confuse the meaning of hood. In my wisdom, hood is bothersome. Hood is thug, not gangsta. There's a difference. Hood does not know how to control their emotions. My definition of hood has changed. Okay, so now that's a negative connotation of hood. So if you're hood, does that mean that, okay, so you're saying hood is bothersome? Not okay. So there's a difference between a thug and a gangster. I can respect that. I do respect that. I understand that there. Hood doesn't know how to control their emotions. So I like to hear other people's thoughts on that. Like, how did that go? Yeah, I like a fuck around and find out kind of man too. A respectable man. I think that's dope as well, Miss Teresa. Like, yeah, fuck around and find out. I think that's dope. And agreed. Just there, I hated it too. Like, it's not an enjoyable experience where you actually allow yourself to, yeah, never again. Don't ever dim your light for anyone. Dating, friendships, or otherwise. Choose to be you. Choose to allow yourself to shine. And I feel like that we compromise a lot in that. So that goes back to the things that we're saying here in this email, right? Like, do we allow Black men to fully be themselves? Like, do we allow Black men to be respectable, to be chivalrous, to be kind? Or do we expect like this other, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to call it like hood shit, because hood isn't necessarily bad. Like, I like a man who can ruffle feathers. I like a man with experience, street smart. And for me, that's what I feel like hood is. And I think maybe the word hood is subjective. It's what you define it as, because I don't see it as a negative. Miss Teresa sees it as a negative, but I'm like, a hood man to me is someone who is well-rounded. He's grew up in the streets. He has some exposure. Doesn't necessarily mean he chose that lifestyle, but he understands the lifestyle. He's able to balance between both worlds. He may be a professional, he may be something else, whatever the case may be, but he knows how to handle himself. And like you said, Miss Teresa, we will definitely be protected by any means necessary. But does that necessarily mean that because he's those things, that he can't be kind and he can't be a respectable man? And he can't be, because to me, I think he can. I think you can be all of those things. And so, Jasir said that he has the experience that he was told that he wasn't hood enough, or he wasn't hard enough because he displayed chivalry, that he was kind. And I've heard that before, and I've even said that myself, like, that he's just too nice. Like, that I've actually stopped dating someone for being too fucking nice. Like, he's just too nice. And that sounds crazy, because don't you want someone who's nice, and maybe not nice, but kind? You know what I mean? But Sneak Geek said that nice guys finish last. Do you think that for real, for real? Because I feel like some nice guys are winning right now. I feel like some nice guys are actually winning. And why do we have that, like, perspective? Why do we think that? Like, why do we think that? Because you hear it all the time. And I know some good men who feel that way. Like, I know some good single men. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I know some genuinely good single men, and they kind of feel that way. Like, either like Jasir said, they're too nice, or women are just, I don't want to say not shit, because that's rough, but they're just not very receptive to what it is. So why do we think that? Like, why do we feel like nice guys finish last? Let's talk about that. I think that's an interesting thing. Miss Teresa said, I respect a man who is street smart, but also family oriented. Exactly. Like, I think there's a balance. And I think there's a balance for sure. Like, You have to be able to do both. And I feel like, yeah, that's why I love my dad, because that's definitely him for sure. Like, definitely him. And I feel like we have men in our life who are respectful, who are street smart, who are family oriented, and they can definitely hold it down. But there is some reason we as Black women have some tainted perspective to where we feel like we're not, where like they have to be hard or they have to be rough. And I think that actually might speak to self-worth. And I almost didn't want to say that, but it's like, do we not feel like we're worthy of kind men? You know what I'm saying? Like, of good men, because she said in this email that her brothers are good men. And I can actually say that my family, they're good men too, and they've experienced the same thing. So it's like, do we have to, why do we think love has to be like hard, or it has to be aggressive, or it has to be something of that nature for it to be real? Like, why don't we make space for men who are kind and chivalrous? And why do we think that Becky, Sue, and Margarita, actually that's my mom's name in real life, so maybe I can't use that, Lisa and I, you know, like, why do we think that they're more deserving? Because I would honestly say, I don't think, and you can challenge me if you want, but I don't think that every Black man that is in an interracial relationship is a bad man. Because some people will say like, oh, if he's dating someone who's not Black, then we don't want him anyway. Like, we don't want him anyway. We hear that all the time. But is that true though? Like, they could actually be some real good men and we fucked up or we fumbled, because like, we fumble. Like, I had to think about that too. Like, we as women, we fumble good men as well. And y'all know I'm definitely not a pick me. You can run these podcasts back to know that that's not my angle at all. But if we can be accountable and be honest, we can say that we have fumbled. And I don't think all Black men who date outside of their race are bad men. And yeah, so as she said, being myself, I found that it's not compatible with people who have a closed mindset. And he says that he feels nice guys finish last too. And like I said, I know him. He's a solid dude. Like, he is a good man. Oh, I saw this video where it was like, I just need a man in my life, like a man I can call who can just come fix something for me, who could like fix a bulb or like help me with my car, or like, and he's not trying to be my man. He's just a good man. And Jasir is a good man. Like, he's just a good man. And I like to give people flowers when they're due. And so I just feel like some level of sorrow, maybe, I don't know, because I hear this all the time. So what do we do about this? How can we reconcile the fact that there are a lot of good ass men out here who feel like they finish last because they're good ass men? And this is something that we as women have to pay attention to, because a lot of times men feel like they're not being heard. And if they're not being heard and we're not being heard, there's a fucking disconnect. And as long as there's a disconnect, our relationships are going to be fucked up. So I feel like this is something that we have to explore. Miss Teresa said that her son said females his age and under like a rude one. I know. What is this? What is this? And I've seen it, I've heard it, I've experienced it, I've done it. Is this just a cycle or something that we go through? Or is it like some traumatic experience that we need to fucking heal from? And I mean this, like, I mean this. As he said, there should be more women. I do. Usually, I think it might be because we started late, but we usually have a lot of women in here having conversation. That's why I was trying to tag them. But we usually start a little bit earlier, like 4:30, sometimes 5. But I'll tag them so we can have more people in the conversation to define what hood is, because I'm curious to know too. Okay, so Miss Teresa said that she thinks that daddy and mama issues play a part for both. True, agreed. But to what extent? Like, tell me more about that. And the guys I know who are in relationships with non-black women just like feeling respected and loved on for who they are. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like, if we're having an open conversation, do we as black women not allow that space for men to be who they want to be soft, to be kind? Because Becky Sue Allen and all them, they love that type of shit. Like, you can go be all that. You can go cry with them. You can go all that. If you're with us, like, we're like, nigga, now we've evolved. We're getting a lot better, and there's so many layers to it. But that's what I want to explore. Like, I really, really want to explore that. Miss Teresa says, "What if some women feel they aren't good enough for a good man?" That's okay. We're getting to it. Thank you, Heather. Shout out to a good comb, because my hair has been like this for a long time, but I haven't been able to comb it right because I didn't have the right comb. So I finally went to the hair store and got like 3 different combs. So shout out to a good comb. I appreciate that. But jumping back in, is it about not, as us, as black women, not feeling that we're worthy or good enough to receive a soft man? And yes, I'm saying soft, and I'm not saying soft in the terms of like, y'all know what I mean, but I mean soft in terms of like kind and chivalrous and good, because there are so many good men that I know. And Miss Teresa is saying there's an excuse. There's black women who bow to their man under God and still get. I agree. I do definitely agree. I agree that there are some exceptions to the rule on both ends of the spectrum. But even that, I feel like might be a self-esteem issue, because I feel like if you honor yourself as well, you're not going to bow to the man under God, under extreme circumstances, because the man that puts you in that position is going to honor you. And so if it gets to the point where they're taking advantage of you, that's not, I don't think, on the woman. I think the man has issues there. So we can explore that too. Tweakers Only says that being too nice is dangerous these days. I agree. But why? And listen, trust me, I know, like, niggas take niceness and kindness for granted. And I think that is so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate that you can have somebody in your corner who is really like just willing to like go through the slums with you. But as soon as like you open up that space, niggas take it for granted. And it's like a take. And reciprocity kind of goes out the window. And I think that is so unfortunate, because you fuck up a lot of good relationships like that. And I think that that's what Jassir was saying too, when he was saying that someone said that he was too chivalrous. The fact that people find that if you're kind or if you're nice, like that's a bad thing. What the fuck is our problem? Like, that sounds crazy, but that's literally what it boils down to. Like, being kind is an issue, or being kind is something that we take for granted. And so it says social norms, like a lot of the bogus trends that was placed on us, caused us to miss out on great people. I agree, Sneak Geek. These fucking social norms and social media, and everybody wants to be hard and all of that shit, I think is crazy. Out of the 7 relationships, 7? That's a lot. Out of 7 relationships I've been in, I can honestly say I felt seen or heard or evenly genuinely cared for in 3. Okay, so 7 is that. I've never been in that many relationships, but 7 out of 3, that's pretty sad. So tell me about that. Like, how did you end up in a relationship if you didn't feel those things prior to leading it into a relationship? And Heather says, what makes it dangerous, Sneak Geek? Like, what makes being too nice dangerous? I'll tell you what I just said what I think. I think that people take advantage of that shit. Like, I don't think people have boundaries when it comes to having some people kind. And I understand it's because you're so used to having people who have ulterior motives and blah, 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 blah. But I think that, like, sometimes niggas prey on that shit, and it's so unfortunate. It's just really unfortunate. Miss Teresa says, we're getting better, but some women don't understand how to handle the tears of a man when their own tears as a female wasn't handled. We don't understand those tears. Stop crying. What the heck? Suck it up. I think that's one reason a hood man is wanted. Not by me. I'm good now. Very, very, very valid point. And that's what I'm saying. Is the brokenness or the unhealed parts or the issues of us as women, Black women, do we project that on to men and not allow them to be kind or soft because we're not allowed to be kind or soft? And so does that give space for them to date outside of our race? Because Becky, Sue, Allie, Gabriella, all of them are going to let him cry. They're going to soothe their tears. They're going to actually see that in a space. And I'm not going to say all, but a vast majority. And in regards to that, I was saying that I don't think all Black men who date outside of our race are bad men. And that relates to the email that we received where she said that Black women preferring hood men over good men is a real thing because it's happened to her siblings. And I can say I attest to because it's happened to mine as well. So are we as women fucking shit up because we don't know how to handle kind men? We don't know how to create space. And then it's like, all right, well, Jazz, we don't have that space either. So it goes to saying, like, when we have encounters with people who are kind, we take advantage of that shit because we don't know how to handle it. Or we don't think we're worthy of it, so we push it away. As she says, reciprocation is not common. It sure the fuck isn't. I'm learning that as well. And I think learning that more and more is causing me to kind of totally okay with being single. Like, I'm learning reciprocity is not, it's not as common as everybody uses the word, and it sounds amazing. And I'm also learning that, like, reciprocity looks different in different situations. Like, your returning energy doesn't have to be the same way that I gave it to you, but I just want to know that you're able to give it to me. You know what I'm saying? Like consider me, be considerate of me in the same way that I consider you. And the consideration doesn't have to play out in the same manner, but just know that, yeah, I agree with you that reciprocity isn't as common. Miss Teresa says, being too nice can get you played, and nobody wants some to get played. Gullible female or male isn't a good thing, but especially a man because he's supposed to be a leader. Being too nice can get you played. I agree with that. Winston said, yep, y'all fucking shit up. What are we fucking up? Winston, you can't just come in. Oh, you're saying us Black women, we're fucking it up. Okay, so how can we reconcile this? Because again, I told y'all, this is open healing conversation, and we got to be accountable too. And I was really thinking about that. Like, in this email, she's like, nigga, my brothers are good men. And I'm like, so are mine. And I know a lot of good men who either date outside of our race because they say that they are allowed to be kind, soft. And then I have other Black men who are still 100% committed to Black women, but they tell me all the time, like, you bitches are rough. They don't call us bitches, but I can. You bitches are rough. Like, y'all don't like emotion. Y'all don't like niggas to be soft. And again, niggas and men, I'm not using it interchangeably because I know there's a difference, but just follow me in the conversation. But I gotta be PC, so every time I say something, I have to pause so we're all on the same page. But I feel like we have some really good men too who are experiencing this. And so I have to say, are we the fucking problem? Like Cardi said, are we the fucking drama? Like, are we the issue? And if we are, how do we reconcile this? Like, how do we create the space for our men to be soft, and it's not seen as them not being hood enough or them not being hard enough? Because I think we need to do better. We do. Oh no, I keep forgetting that you are 45. Okay, 45. I didn't think 7 relationships was a lot. I met the representative, and over time the real person showed up. I didn't pay attention because there were signs, so I take accountability for ignoring them. No, that's not bad. 45, that's not bad. I keep thinking you're like 32. 45, that's cool. How long did they last? Because I've never been in a long relationship, but that's because, and it's not even commitment issues, it's just the same thing. Like, if I feel like we're not on the same page, I don't stay for long. And so it just is interesting. And even like with my kids' dads, they were really dope experiences, but they didn't last for a long time with any of them. But like, we're still dope friends. We're cool. We're in good spaces most of the time. And so it's dope. But I've never had like a long relationship. I can never say like, I've been with somebody for 10 years or I've been with somebody for 8 years. I think that's dope. And how does that work out? Like, how does that go? DeAndre said, learn your man. Tell me more. Tell me more. Learn your man. How do we create that space? Because I agree. Like, a good man don't make him, oh, Heather, that's true. A good man doesn't make him the man for you, right? Because like I said, I know tons of good men and none of them are for me, but I know they're dope. I should probably play matchmaker. I tried to with Single Mingle, but that didn't work out. But we're going to circle back on that. Don't think I forgot about Single Mingle and a way to kind of create that space. But okay, so DeAndre, I know you've been in a relationship for a long time and you're in a good space. So tell me, how did you make that connection? Like, how did you and your spouse get into a good space? Like, how did you feel vulnerable enough to be open with her to allow her to learn you? Because let's also be very clear, ladies, and I sound like a fucking pick me this week. This shit's crazy. But let's also be clear that like allowing, like, getting to experience a man is a privilege. And I know we say it goes both ways, but not really, because we're emotional. Like, bitches are emotional. We'll tell you how we feel without a doubt. Like, it's easy for us to express ourselves. Men, not so much. Like, it takes a lot for a man to be vulnerable, to be open. And so to experience that is actually like a privilege. So when a man allows you into that space, I think that we should honor that. And a lot of times we get like we are, I forgot the word, not conniving, but a lot of times we throw that shit in their faces, right? We get into an argument and we be like, and that's why your mama ain't shit and you and blah blah blah, like everything that he told you in confidence, now you're throwing it in his face. And then he's like, fuck you, bitch. And then it gets real ugly. And it's like, damn, nigga, I thought you were a safe space. I actually allowed you in that space to be vulnerable. And now you're telling me all my business in such a negative way. And so we got to be better with that, because allowing a man to be vulnerable in your space is really a privilege, because they're not afforded that often. So take that into consideration. Right, Shanae, pick me is crazy, Jazz. I know. I'm over here sounding like a whole, I don't know. It's true though. Like, it's true. Because some weeks I be going in on them, but some weeks we just got to be honest about ourselves. Like, it's both. It's and two. It's and two. It's both. We both got shit we need to work on. Women have to actually care about him to really pay attention to learn their man. That's fair. I think that's fair. Of course they have to care. I mean, but that goes both ways. Like, a man's not going to care about a woman, learn about a woman he doesn't care about either. Listen, that's reciprocity. I think it goes both ways, right? It has to go both ways. Hey, Winston, I was wondering if you was going to chime in. Winston says, just like accepting public assistance from the man that kept the black man out of the home, break the curse. I like that. So what's the first step? We have to have tangible solutions. We have to have answers for this. And that's why I like meeting y'all here every Friday, because I think conversations like this are like tangible steps. It's the beginning, right? We're planting seeds to actually start thinking about, like, how do we have these conversations? How do we navigate these spaces? How do we look at ourselves to be like, damn, bitch, are you hard? Like, if you saw your man crying, are you going to tell him to suck it up? Or are you going to be like, you got that space? Like, how are you going to handle that? And then, are you projecting? Are you like, well, if I can't cry, nigga, neither can you? Like, how do we handle that? And so, like, how do we break the curse? Because I even feel with that, Winston, that we are still even under that curse, that people are still literally choosing help over community. Oh, and let me plug something that I'm doing too. So I'm starting a initiative called In Our Hands, and what I'm doing is we're connecting generations together. So if you're a homeowner and you are a homeowner 50 plus, you have children under 12, and you need like general help or support in your house, send me an email, dearjazzy@gmail.com. And what we're going to do is we'll send out some contractors and some young men to actually make the repairs in your house. But I'll give you more information on how that works. And next week I'll have a flyer. But this conversation just somehow plugged that in my mind. So we'll get back to that. But okay, so Winston says accountability and healing. I agree. Having conversations around accountability and healing, and maybe we do like a I don't know, like a, so then my question is like, if we did like a community conversation or a discussion or a platform where it's open to all, like to men and to women, to really come out and talk, to listen, not talk to be like, to just be heard and to dump or to like scapegoat, but to really come up with some tangible solutions. Like, with that, is that something that you guys would be interested in, something that we could even actually make happen? So we're gonna slide into the next one. I think we've had some real good conversation around this email. I think a lot of it has to do with thinking about layers, because like I said, as women, black women, who black, white, red, or brown, but specifically as black women, like, do we create space for our men to be kind? Do we allow them to be chivalrous? Do we allow them to express themselves? Or do we label that as soft or something that we're not interested in? And if so, how do we pull back the layers for that? Because we have plenty of men. Well, we have men in the comments and men who send emails or chats that literally, okay, DeAndre just sent a whole book, so I'm about to read it. Okay, here it goes. It says, DeAndre says, the same way I had to learn her, I just asked her to be patient and learn me, which is seriously what it sounds like. Learn your man, learn his safe spaces, and keep them safe. We men just want to know we're appreciated. Women actually hold the key to everything, because we want to love and keep you safe and create a space where we both grow and can understand. A fault is not a bad thing in my relationship. We complement each other, and it took time to get there, but she understands that she's the one that prepares me for the world I have to conquer in order to provide and take care of my family. The way we speak to each other is big, fucking huge. The way you speak. Okay, we'll get to that. Things we always try to talk to each other with respect and love, even in an argument. It's always good to remember that's your person. Just a little insight. But I can go on forever, but everyone is different, but love should overcome the bullshit. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am so grateful to hear from a man's perspective and to just see like vulnerability and insight. And yeah, I appreciate that. Like, that gave me chills for just your sharing and you're willing to be open. And I think you said so much, like, in saying that, just observing and learning. And so I've been having this reflection about myself where I'm learning that now I'm in a space, I think my computer died, but now that I'm in a space where I just want to actually listen, to learn, and to observe and to understand. Like, I don't respond immediately. Like, before I could respond, like before you're even done talking, I have something to say. But now, like, I sit with shit and I like process things, and sometimes it might actually take me a day to respond, because I really want to take in everything that was being said and everything that was being taught. And exactly what DeAndre is saying is like, getting to learn and understand someone and creating safe space for that person, but then understanding that like communication matters, like the words that you say matters. But the fact that you're able to honor that you're the leader, but she is in control, like, that is so fucking powerful. Like, that is so powerful, because there is a difference in that dynamic. Like, you are the leader, but you understand her role is to be the one who helps you to navigate, to help you to understand. And so, like, pointing those things out in your comments was super dope. And just, yeah, I appreciate that. And so Heather says, how you need someone to show up for you, what you like, what you don't like, triggers, how you handle conflict, how you communicate, love languages, people need to talk openly. Like, I totally agree to all of that. I agree to all of that. Like, open communication. And I think that that's why dating is so important. Like, actual dating, not just fucking and going out to eat, but like actual real conversations and getting to know your person and watching them and observing them, and then having conversations about if that works for you or not. And what you mean you're not telling shit, Winston? You have to. But you also aren't even really looking for a relationship either. You're kind of doing your own thing. So I get that. And so Miss Teresa, that was strong. That was powerful. I really appreciate that, DeAndre. Thank you. And Jasir said that he agrees. Like, he agrees. And so I just appreciate that. So we can actually close on that note. If anybody wants to send any other insight, you can continue to put comments, but we're going to move on to the next email. But if you want to continue to share thoughts or insight on how to break this dynamic or how to create that soft space, then let's definitely explore that, especially from the men, because like I said, I really appreciate your vulnerability and your willingness to share there. Like, I really, really appreciate that a lot. So the next one that we had a email from, I think was about, I don't know, let's see. Jazzy, how do you know when it's time to take a leap? I want to uproot myself to a new location, start a new career, and see if love finds me there, because it sure hasn't found me here. What are the signs that lead you to go? I'll leave that open to the comments. Do you guys have any insight? Has anybody just took a leap and moved from a different city or moved to a different state or anything of that nature? Anyone take a leap of faith? I don't know. Have I? Well, I came back home. I don't know if that counts. I'm going back to what DeAndre said because I was just so full. Well, I'll let you guys think about that. Oh, and I also want to just point out what you said that I think was so dope when you said that like faults aren't a bad thing in your relationship, because I honor that, and I think that's important to highlight or acknowledge too, because a lot of times we look for perfection, or we want a perfect person or someone that doesn't have any issues, and that's so far from the truth. And I think that's a really that's a dynamic that we need to explore within our relationships as well, especially among black men and black women, is that like in relationships, it's okay to be not perfect, right? It's okay to be human. It's okay to allow your man to have flaws. Like, okay, this is how he moves and this is what he does, and not try to fix it. So I think we had a conversation about this a couple podcast episodes about like, your man doesn't have to call you every single hour of the day to show that he's interested in you. And maybe that's not his style. Maybe he's the type of person who wants to talk to you at the end of the day because he wants to hear about your entire day, and he wants, you know what I mean? So like, understanding how your person loves you and what that looks like in your love language, and understanding how to love that person as well. And then exploring if it lines up. Like, if you need somebody who calls you every day, then the person who's not calling you every day, then that's not going to align for you. You know what I mean? And so someone says, I would think wherever your faith leads you, doors will open for you. Okay, so that's the question, the answer to the question one. Heather says, duo will make you happy. Tweaker, you've been in 11 relationships. How long were they? Like, and what were the dynamics of them? And are you in a relationship now? I don't think you are, if I can remember. You're just getting it cracking right now. But let me know. How did your 11 relationships go, and what are the dynamics with that? Winston says, if it ain't broke, then don't try to fix it. That might actually be one of my favorite sayings. And I don't know why, because I don't know, but I really love that. Like, if it ain't broke, then don't fix it. Like, if it works, if it's consistent, if you're happy and you're in a dope space, then let it ride out. But if we're applying, or if we're trying to answer the email, I feel like, so for me, when I was in my 20s, I was a gypsy. But that was because of the line of work I did. We did a lot of things cross country. So I've lived everywhere, but that was and when I say everywhere, kind of along the East Coast. So like Florida, Boston, Seattle, DC, Maryland, and now I'm back home in Denver. Did a little stint in LA, but I wouldn't even say that because it was only a couple months. But I did a lot of traveling and a lot of moving around. And I would say during that time in my life, it was the work. It was what we were doing. But when I made the decision to come back home in October of 2016, like, I didn't have a choice. It was crazy how it worked. So I got my master's in nonprofit management philanthropy. My family came out to celebrate. I was in Massachusetts. I had my son at the time. I only had my oldest. He's 13 now. So got my master's. We went, partied, had a good day. I was in heels all day. I used to love to wear heels. Once I went to fam, so I grew up in Denver where it was baby dolls, t-shirts, and Jordans, Chucks. Like, we were in that type of shit. Then I went to fam and I got put onto the whole pretty girl heel type shit, and it changed my life. And then I loved to wear heels. I was always in heels. And then, so got my master's, in heels all day, went bowling, woke up the very next day and couldn't move the lower part of my body. Like, had no motion, no nothing. It was fucking crazy. So when I had my son, I had an epidural. Never again. Never had an epidural after this. Anyways, I had an epidural. The anesthesiologist fucked up the first time. And so so he chipped my bone. Crazy. Years later, after I get my master's, this piece of bone that got chipped ends up blocking a nerve canal in my back, and I lose all motion. I can't move. My son, I think at this time, he's like 5. Is Elijah? He's like 4 or 5, one of them two. His dad is that nigga. He still is. He got a restaurant in Massachusetts, and he just works full time. So he was always there, supportive financially, whatever I needed him to do. We were put up, well taken care of, never had no issues. But now I can't walk. I have no motion. I can't do anything whatsoever. I have a toddler, and I don't really have a lot of family out there. Like, my dad and them are out there, but he's a pastor. They're doing their own little thing. So taking me in would be a lot. So I'm like, all right, I got to come back to Denver. Like, I got to go back home because this is where I'm from. So that's how I ended up back home. I ended up back home with my family. Shout out to KK. KK is mom. That's my second mom. She's my cousin. She's 10 years older than me, but that's who raised me after, like, from 15 up. So whenever I needed to come home, I would come home to KK. Me and my son came home. Well, prior to, so I had to do like physical therapy. So I had surgery, did all that shit. His dad put me up while I did all that. I had to learn how to walk. It's crazy because, like, I talk about it like so nonchalantly, but I could, like, and I have wrote a book, but I never even mentioned this in my book. But it's like, damn, I literally had to learn how to walk again. And I was in a cane and everything, but that's what brought me home. And so ever since then, like, I've never been afraid to just take a leap because it's like, I've literally lost it all in so many different ways. It's like, what else can happen? Like, you can just literally jump and, like, something dope amazing will happen, and you never know how it turns out, and you never know how like your situation is a blessing to someone else. So I always say, like, just trust yourself. My favorite scripture and saying is, God is within you, you will not fail. And that's actually a scripture. It's actually from the Bible. So when I say, like, I believe that God is within you, and like Christians be like, oh my God, you're saying you're God. I'm like, no, I'm actually saying what your Bible says. Like, your Bible says that God is within you, like in you, you have God in you. So whatever you do, just trust that it's all going to work together for your good, whatever your good may be in that moment. And then understand that like good changes, right? Seasons change, things change, people change, you pivot, life happens. And so what may be good now may not be good in the future, but it's what you needed in that moment. So I feel like, I feel like just trust it. Take a step. We have this one life, this experience. I believe you have another experience. You have different lessons that you learned every single time. But like, just trust that like you're not gonna fail. And even if you fuck up, even if it doesn't turn out how you expected it to be, it's gonna be beautiful. And even painful can be beautiful, right? Like, and it doesn't necessarily have to be painful either. And I think that like allowing life to be life. So I'm in a crazy situation right now. Life is just life in a lot of different places. And I had the opportunity to talk to my dad, and he was telling me like, you go through seasons, right? Like, and you have to be able to pivot and understand that like, that's what life is. Like, life is seasons, life is valleys, life is peaks, life is all of those things. And you never know what it will be if you never test it. If you do the same thing every single day, if you go the same places every single day, if you do nothing new, you never really know what you're capable of, and you never really know what's on the other side. You just never know. So I say, if you have the unction to go, then go. But that's just me. And of course, have a plan, like have a strategy, but be flexible in your plan. Understand that nothing ever goes strictly according to plan, and be flexible. And I think that's another thing that I say too, like methods are many, principles are few. Methods often change, principles never do. Another one from my daddy. Shout out to my dad. That's one thing, like your principles never change, but your methods of how you get shit accomplished or how you reach your goal, like that's going to change. That shit looks different every single time. So allow yourself to be flexible, allow yourself to explore, allow yourself to fall, allow yourself to learn lessons, allow yourself to pivot, allow yourself to like take that leap, because the fuck, what else is life about? That's how I see it. And even with my babies now, I think I'm a little bit more mindful of that, how I pivot, because I won't jump off the cliff as quickly. I'm still gonna jump off that motherfucker, trust me, but it's gonna be a little bit more strategic and a little bit more planned out or thoughtful. So I think that we should never lose our zeal. I don't think I don't think we're meant here to just work and die. I think we're here to try new places. There's 7 billion fucking people in this world. There's so many different continents, countries, cities, places. And if you think that you are just restricted to the city and state that you lived in, I just don't believe that to be true. Is it possible? Yeah, there are people who've been there, and their mama's been there, and their daddy's been there, and their auntie's been there, and that's cool, and that happens, and that's realistic. But like we're meant to be nomads. We're meant to travel. We're meant to explore. We're meant to cultivate. We're meant to create in different spaces. And so trust it. Write the vision. Make it plain. I think that's what the Bible says. And when you're ready, go for it. Something that might be my own little ad-lib, but I do know it does say write the vision and make it plain. So write it out. And then, so for me, it was choosing between coming back to Denver or going to DC, because I fucking love DC. Like, I had the time of my life in DC. When you want to see some beautiful black people just making life happen, and bougie hood black people, like bougie hood, like that's why I fit in so good, because I think I'm a great combination of both. But like bougie hood black people, DC was amazing. And if I had family there, I wouldn't be in Denver. Like, that's, if I had family in DC, I wouldn't be in Denver. And if I didn't have my son, I wouldn't be in Denver. So those are different dynamics that I had to consider as well, because I needed to go where I could get help. And shout out to his daddy, because now he's back with his dad. He's 13 years old now, and he's giving his dad the whole teenage blues, and I get to just call and hear about it. And I salute all the full-time fathers who show up for their babies, because listen, this parenting life is no joke. It's really, really, really no joke whatsoever. But Heather says not to relate it to find someone. Don't do it for that, but definitely do it for the leap and for you. That part too. But no, I feel like that's fair. If you feel like you want to explore some different cities to manifest your person, I think that's fair. If you are exploring options, because you got to be intentional, right? Like, you have to be intentional. Like, if your intentions are moving to a city to find someone to be with, like, you set that intention. And I'm not saying that you be thirsty, but you're intentional, because you're saying like, all right, I want to go and I want to meet a person. So that means that I'm actually going to go date. I'm actually going to go out. I'm going to go find places where other single people are. So I do think it is cool to say like, no, I want to go find somewhere to live for love. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing whatsoever at all. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. So take the leap. And if it doesn't turn out how you wanted to turn out, that's totally okay. It'll be beautiful, whatever it may be, however it ends, and just go for it. Go for it. Go for it. And then write us and tell us how it goes. But again, have a plan to some extent. Close your eyes, pin somewhere on the map, look at like their income and salary and what they need to do, or what you need to do to survive there. But definitely take the leap, and don't be afraid of what may be on the other side. So I'm wrapping up for today. Thank you guys for joining me so much. Again, remember to send your comments, your questions, your insight, and your thoughts to Dear Jazzy at gmail.com. If you want to continue the conversation about anything that we've discussed, you can send me a message, a text, don't call me. You can email me. You can send an email to Dear Jazzy. You can send me a message on Facebook, Instagram, leave a message on YouTube, all of those things. And we will meet you next Friday. I won't tell you the time. I'll just share it with you when we get closer to the day, to make sure that we're all on together. And again, you can catch me on Amazon, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, on the AHRR Network, where we are not just for the people, we are the people. Talk to you later.